One does not design for Miss Hepburn, one designs with her. She's a real professional, and she has definite feelings about what things are right for her, whether it has to do with costumes, scripts, or her entire lifestyle, said costume designer Edith Head. Katharine Hepburn started pursuing her career in fashion and acting after the suicide of her beloved brother during her childhood. After his death, Katharine dropped out of school and made her brother proud. Not only was she a famous Hollywood actress, but beyond that is a true role model, fashion icon, and independent woman for her sense of style. She has influenced countless women, fashion designers, and has inspired the modern American woman's style seen on today's runways. Throughout her life, Katharine Hepburn refused to conform to typical gender norms and blurred the lines of traditional expectations of women. In the 1930s, women's fashion had not yet been liberated. Many women could have been arrested for wearing pants in public or even detained for dressing as a man. This didn't stop her fight. Off camera, she wore minimal jewelry and makeup, simply known for wearing just red lipstick. Her androgynous approach to fashion is what formed her iconic look, creating a newer style of dress for the American woman. Katharine perfected the borrowed from the boys style that fashion loves to replicate to this day. The actress changed perceptions of dress and made the look comfortable but still fashionable. She holds the record of 4 Academy Awards for Best Actress and was nominated for 12, has 28 awards total, and 36 nominations in her lifetime. One of her earlier roles was in Bringing Up Baby. The picture wasn't successful at the box office. The role saw Hepburn dressed far from her personal style, wearing silk gowns with feminine details such as frills, bows, and floral details. This is when Katharine began to create her iconic look that would forever change her career. Katharine Hepburn was born on May 12, 1907 in Hartford, Connecticut. She lived with her mom and dad and 5 other siblings. In 1930, her film career started in a time period where Hollywood revolved around glamour. In contrast to that, Hepburn had a more androgynous look and lengthy body shape, perfect for wearing men's clothing, whereas others in Hollywood were wearing sequins and fur. In 1933, she wore the satin and lace wedding gown created by Howard Greer for her role The Lake. The production was her first major Broadway role, but also a huge flop. The experience taught Hepburn to have a bigger say in what role she accepts, says Barbara Strainer, the director of exhibitions at the New York Public Library. In 1934, she won her first Oscar for Best Actress in Morning Glory. The performance highlights the contrast between Hepburn's feminine and masculine qualities. Her performance presents femininity as a learned mannerism that is much less natural to her than the androgyny role she used to know. This is when Hepburn knew who she was and how she wanted to be while in character. In 1940, the Philadelphia Story marked Hepburn's comeback. A role featuring Valentina's wedding dress was an elaborate pink silk organza chiffon dress that made sense for the role, and then Katharine ended up loving the dress. Hepburn saved the dress in her personal collection and in 1973 wore it again for another film, but with the addition of a corsage and a neck piece. In 1967, Katharine portrays Christian Drayton in Guess Who's Coming to Dinner for her second Oscar win. Some are film costumes, such as the brown wool uniform coat from The Iron Petticoat. Both of these costumes are something that Katharine would typically be seen wearing off-set. In 1968, The Lion in Winter was her third Oscar-winning performance. This garment earned Margaret Froese an Oscar nomination for Best Costume Design. Katharine and Margaret would go shopping together and talk extensively about what kinds of things would set the scene. She really appreciated good fabric and good construction of a garment. In 1969, she played the part of Coco Chanel in the Broadway performance Coco as her only stage music performance throughout her career. The tailored Chanel suit shown was worn by Katharine to document another fashion icon, Coco Chanel, and her life and work. I felt all along that Coco and I were alike, that we were two females who have never been intimidated by the world, who never shifted our styles to conform to public opinion. She is practical, vulnerable, and a fighter, said Katharine Hepburn. In 1981, The Golden Pond was her fourth Oscar-winning performance. During this role, she wore khaki cotton twill slacks with blue polyester blend button-up shirt and a white cotton turtleneck, displaying again how her personal style reflects not only through her movies, but also outside of her career. In 1985, Katharine was awarded the Lifetime Achievement Award from the Council of Fashion Designers of America. Also, the museum officially opened its doors and made it possible to share all of the extraordinary donated pieces with the public. Hepburn kept most of her costumes in her New York townhouse, and after her death, the collection went to Kent State University's museum. In 2008, the Kent State University Museum was honored to receive Katharine Hepburn's personal collection of film, stage, and television costumes, as well as clothes worn by her for publicity purposes. The unique exhibition will display performance costumes from the stage productions of The Philadelphia Story, Without Love, Coco, and Love Among the Ruins. Fortunately, though, skirts and dresses will play a starring role in the dress for the stage and screen portion of the exhibition. Additionally, Hepburn's signature look, many of her tailor beige trousers and linen jackets will feature to show Hepburn's 66-year career. The Kent State Museum currently holds over 30,000 pieces in its collection. According to the exhibition, when the estate of Katharine Hepburn donated the costumes they found in her New York City home, Hepburn requested the clothes be donated to an educational institution. Katharine Hepburn was known for taking charge of her career and working closely with all of her designers to decide her performing wardrobe to fulfill a specific role. The designers understood what would help her and made sure she felt comfortable wearing whatever it was. When Katharine really liked a costume, she had copies of the garment made for herself, sometimes in a different color or fabric. The green jumpsuit by Valentina from the Philadelphia Story was one of the garments she had copied. Adrian was my favorite designer. He and I had the same sense of smell about what clothes should do and what they should say, said Katharine Hepburn. Wearing slim cut trousers in the 30s and 40s and claiming to be seeking comfort while still being fashionable. Now, a new exhibition at the New York Public Library will be given to Hepburn's style, showcasing her khaki trousers among the stage costumes she provided as well. While the dresses and skirts found amongst the costumes showed well on screen, Hepburn constantly rebelled against their wear in daily life, refusing to be anything but herself when it came to her style choices. Hepburn worked most often during her combined time at RKO in the 30s and MGM in the 40s. Walter Plunkett was one of her favorite designers to work with. For the role in Little Minister, they created a silk blouse with a brown china silk skirt with silk tweed ruffle and cotton china silk underskirt with a dark brown velvet corset. The wide corset was a style favored by designers for Hepburn, not something she personally preferred. The second Plunkett costume in the exhibition is the black silk evening gown he designed for the role in Adam's Rib. In 1949, in her interview with Calvin Klein, Hepburn often returned to the subject of line and her feeling it was the most important part of the attractiveness of the garment, rather than any other detail. I think the short skirt is really fundamentally hideous, she said, and the designers listened to her and kept it long. After the death of Katharine Hepburn, the fall 2003 Prada line came out with a collection of small-shouldered skirt suits and other subversive menswear looks inspired by Katharine Hepburn. The fact that she wore slacks and wanted to be comfortable influenced women's ready-wear throughout the United States. As Katharine Hepburn was often wearing men's slacks, they were wide-legged and casual. The NYDJ Greta trouser perfectly captures the look by making it modern. The one-piece suit was an easy choice for Katharine Hepburn back in the 1940s. This simple but elegant jumpsuit by Rachel Paley would make Katharine Hepburn proud. She always helped pave the way for the modern woman and how we dress today. She is not only a Hollywood superstar, but an icon and forever changed the landscape of fashion and feminism. That image said to the American woman, "Look, you don't have to be in your girdle and stockings and a tight dress. You can be comfortable." That was probably the first aspect of becoming a fashion icon, said Miss Durausto, a co-director of the exhibition. For Hepburn, the notions of being feminine while dressing practically and comfortably were not mutually excessive. In the earlier era, her style was considered eccentric. In time, we all caught up, and it began to be a classic, the definition of a true fashion icon.